Oh, hi there. Now, you're probably wondering why I'm doing another video on the BYD Dolphin, but here's the thing. Whereas I've done lots of videos in the past, I've only driven it or had it for a week or driven it for a day. I've been living with this for 3 whole months. Yeah, so now I'm gonna really tell you what it's like to live with a BYD Dolphin. Here's what we're gonna do in this video. I'm gonna throw out as many dolphin puns as I possibly can. And then we're gonna do, Ben, can we do a count along?
Okay.
Yeah?
Yeah.
We're going to do a count along. So place your bets now in the comment section below how many dolphin puns I can get into this video. Yes, right. So allow me to tell you a tale of what it's like for me to live with this dolphin. Shall we dive on in? It's 2 so far, isn't it? It's 2. It starts in the 20s. It starts at like 26 grand. This version I've got here, this is the full top spec version, the design model, and it's just over £31,000. I mean, it's not going to blow a hole in your pocket, is it? Yes! Let's flipper it into reverse and come out this way. There we go. Let's put your seatbelt on, please. Thank you. Right, if you are a regular viewer to Electrifying, welcome back. If you're not, subscribe to the channel, please. Thank you very much. I'm a fan of indicator sounds, especially when they sound really nice. I am a big fan of a nice sort of gentle tick on the ears. This is not a gentle tick. Listen to this. I think they've tried to make it clicky to sound like a dolphin click. Because they click, don't they, dolphins? I think that's what it is. I think that's dolphin click for left. That's dolphin click for right. That's why. I don't like it. Now, in terms of looks, it's not a bad looking thing, is it? I mean, it's not too quirky and in your face right from the front. I like the two-tone design. I like the light design. I think it's very charming, very nice. This is the design spec. So you normally get, active, comfort, boost and design. There we go. This is design, full top spec, over 31 grand. You also get, with the design spec, tricolour wheels. Very sophisticated. Yeah, I quite like those. Now, in terms of size, similar to a Golf, that kind of size. But I'll tell you now, inside is way bigger than a Golf, way bigger. Round the back is where it gets quirky. They just want everyone to know that you're just driving around, building your dreams, living, laughing and loving, you know? Oh, I'm just not a fan. I am a fan of the rear wiper, which I can tell you now, in the UK over the last couple of months, it's been raining constantly. That has come in very, very handy. More cars have this, please. Boot space. I have just taken out my dog beds, by the way, from the boot. So I have 2 dogs, and normally I have like this hammock thing that sits in the rear seats and they sit in that, and it's been in the boot. So I'm living with this car, you know? You need to know how I live my life. This has 345 litres of space, which is fairly decent for a car of this size. Now, this version came with this kind of rubber mat thing. You've also got some space underneath here, which is where I've been keeping cables. Oh, my wellies are in there, like in there, like that. And sometimes, I'm going to point this out, I'm just going to tell you, this thing comes unhooked from that all the time. I could just, so sometimes you'll go to shut the boot and then that will end up being really skew whiff. So every time I shut the boot, I kind of have to make sure it's definitely in place, like that. And I wish that had a button. Inside, it is so roomy back here. So roomy. That is set up for my driving position. I am 5'6½" and I have great leg room. Look at that. Look at that. There's so much space. They've pushed the wheels all the way out to make the interior feel huge back here, which you just wouldn't expect of a car of this size, and I'm genuinely impressed by it. We have a couple of cup holders in there. You've got charge ports down there. There's another cup holder. There's a pocket there for your phone. Put some other things in that pocket. You can feel there are some bits where it feels a little bit budget, so that's a bit scratchy. And this, have you ever swum with dolphins? You know what dolphins feel like? Kind of rubbery and a bit like a wetsuit. Oh, and then the flipper door handles. I can't not mention them because they're just absolutely ridiculous. Headroom is also very good as well. That is largely thanks to the panoramic roof. Yeah, it doesn't have like a full thick roof. It's a little thin on top. But let me show you. So you can open that. And that opens up. Oh, it's going to get really bright in here. Look at that. Oh, it makes it feel so roomy and so bright. And then every time you turn the car off, it closes itself, which I think is a really good thing. Because sometimes, especially in summer, your car might end up getting absolutely boiling. So that will completely close every time you turn off the car, which is good, isn't it? This is probably one of the funkiest interiors I think I have ever sat in. It's just, let's throw everything potentially Dolphin-y inside this car. The quality of materials, again, feel like a dolphin, not made from actual dolphin, but feels like a dolphin. You've got a good shelf here to put your phone. There is wireless charging. My phone never wirelessly charges because my phone is rubbish, but you can put your phone in there. It is wired CarPlay. Allow me to tell you a story. When this car first arrived, I knew it had CarPlay because I've driven it several times. I knew it did, and it just didn't have it. So I was on the phone to BYD going, there's no CarPlay, and they went, right. So then they took that car back, gave me a replacement one, and then managed to figure it out by changing the software. So all you have to do is plug in your phone, and then you've got CarPlay up on your screen, right? But I've found since having it, it's not the best CarPlay. Like, I'll be listening to a podcast or something like that while I'm driving, and then if someone phones me, I'll speak to them on the phone through CarPlay, and then I'll try and go back to the podcast, and then for some reason it's playing out my phone. So then I have to disconnect it, reconnect it, disconnect it, reconnect it. There was a major software update, so they've quietened down some of the bing bongs, and a little thing which really annoyed me before, but they fixed it. So on here, this is where you have all your radio stations, right? And I always set my favourite radio stations. I have like a select 6 or 7 stations. But every time I'd go on it and try and change the radio station, it was just going back to the list and not on my favourites. And I was like, what's the point in setting my favourites if I have to keep going back into the menu? But since the software update, it now just goes straight into my favourites. So that's fine. It's got better. It's definitely got better. Allow me to show you some quirky things it's capable of doing. So while you drive at low speed, it has a very, very quiet low speed hum, right? But you can change that sound. So if you go onto settings and then you go onto vehicle and then it's on notifications and then you have the sound prompt, right? So if I play that, a very, very quiet hum, which is just the noise that you hear when you're driving under 15 miles an hour. If you press brand, it sounds like this. Yeah, which means it sounds like you're an ice cream van. It's like Mike Askew, who works for Electrifying. I turned up to a shoot one day in the Dolphin and he put that on and I didn't know how to turn it off. So I had to do pretty much the whole entire journey home. Every time I slowed down on the M25 or slowed down at a traffic light, it was playing that creepy sound. So if that happens, go onto settings, go onto vehicle and notifications and put it onto standard. But apart from that, everything in here works fine. It's very intuitive. It's very quick. There's no lag or anything like that. It does have the party trick, which I'm still struggling to see if it actually has a porpoise, but it can do that. I've never used it like that. Never. Steering wheel. Perfectly fine and actual buttons, which I'm a big fan of. I love when there's actual physical buttons on the steering wheel rather than just, you know, touch or like haptic buttons. These are actual buttons. So you can go through all of your modes, etc. on here, change your volumes, change your music. You can, you know, change your adaptive cruise control on here. That's how you go through your menus and change things. The screen back here, this is 5 inches, has everything you could possibly need, like your speed, etc. and what battery you've got left. Speaking of battery, the Blade battery in this Dolphin and in all other BYD cars is very good. very, very good. Like when it comes to the NCAP rating, they get like 5 stars because this battery, they test it by shoving a whopping great nail through the middle of it. That's how they test it. They just like shove a nail in it to make sure it's safe. Very good. I'll be honest, it's just the software issues that I've had with this car. I can't let them off the hook for that. Storage, I mean, fairly decent. You've got space in there, so you can put some snacks in there. Cup holders are an okay size. You can get a Starbucks cup in there. Can confirm that for you. You are welcome. There's also a bit of storage underneath here, so you can put in, I don't know, your sushi or whatever you want to do. And then down the side here, there's a little pocket, so you can put your like trolley pound in, or like your trolley token. That's normally what I do, because when I go to Tesco I have to put a token in the trolley. Then you've got a bit of storage in here and a bit down here, and then it's just the same on the other side. Not too bad.
Oh, just in case you were wondering, in terms of one pedal driving, no, it doesn't have one pedal driving at all. There are 2 settings. When it comes to the regen braking, you have standard and high. And I can tell you now, there's not much difference between the two. You will lift your foot off the accelerator and it just won't really give that much feedback. So a bit more power with regen, please, BYD. That would be very nice.
Right, allow me to give you some numbers. So this has a 60.4 kilowatt hour battery. It has 204 horsepower. Will do 0 to 62 in 7 seconds. Perfectly fine of a car of this size. But around town and in the city, it is just brilliant. We've got 265 miles of range. I've done maybe about 4,000 miles in this thing. I haven't got 265 yet. Working on it. I think if you just did pure city driving for 265 miles, you may get that, but not how I drive. I mean, I live in the countryside, so I'm mostly on 50 mile an hour roads and up, which is where the range just completely goes. I mean, they claim that you can get 3.9 miles per kilowatt hour. I'm yet to see it. Hasn't happened to me yet. I want to point out one thing that bugs me a little bit while I'm driving this, and that is the fans at the front here have a really horrible, annoying reflection on the main windscreen. I do want to say, as a positive, the adaptive cruise control is very, very good. Very good. I mean, I am that person, as soon as I get onto the motorway, I put on the adaptive cruise control and just live my best lazy driving life. And it works really, really well. And you can adjust all the settings on the steering wheel, which means you can adjust your distance to the car in front. And that all works very lovely. I mean, you may not be an adaptive cruise control person. I may just be spouting nonsense, but you know, it's down to you, isn't it?
Oh, just a heads up, you may want to switch off your lane keep assist. This is purely because on our great British B roads, it can get a bit all over the place. And when it tries to keep you in lane, it's a tad on the forceful side. All right.
Charging. It will charge at a top speed of 88 kilowatts. And I haven't seen that yet. Haven't seen it. I've gone to quite a few fast charging points, and the fastest I've got is just over 60 kilowatts, which normally means it's around 40 minutes to get it fully topped up. So I'm still yet to see the 88 kilowatts. But I mean, it's possible with all the software updates and everything that they're doing constantly. I mean, it's definitely possible, isn't it? That's so rubbish. So bad. But I mean, it handles pretty well. The steering is quite light, but it's light because it's a city car, but you do still get a little bit of weight behind the steering wheel. It's not like the kind of car that you would just end up driving with one finger. You can, but you shouldn't, because, you know, legal reasons. But it handles quite well. You can throw it round some corners if you want to. This is front wheel drive, and the wheels do kind of go if it's trying to sort of grip. Occasionally you'll just have a moment where they're just trying to struggle to hold onto the road. I mean, I'll be honest, I've been living with this thing for 3 months now, and I thought, well, the more I drive it, maybe the more it will just grow on me. But I don't think it's grown on me. I think I'm just perfectly fine with it. It's a perfectly all right car, is what it is. For the money, it's very good. I mean, this is top spec, so this is just over 31 grand, but the whole thing starts in the 20s, which is really affordable for an EV. And for an EV that can do 265 miles, I know I still haven't seen 265, but city driving, totally possible. That's really good, isn't it? It's really good budget electric car. All in all, it's been a perfectly pleasant 3 months with this thing. It's been perfectly fine. It's annoyed me a lot of the time, especially with the software issues, etc. But as they are slowly updating it, I feel like the only way is up. It's just going to keep getting better. I mean, I don't know if they'll be able to make a faster version. They've just got to find a Dolphin-friendly tuner. But I think if you were to go for one of these as a city car, you'll be perfectly happy. For the money, you will be perfectly happy. If you're a quirky person, you'll be perfectly happy. Let us know what you think in the comments section below, and I'll see you next time. Fish!